Good afternoon. Today we're going to be looking at 9.1. Chapter 9 is all about trigonometry and using right triangle trig, so sine, cosine, and tangent. 9.1 is all about the tangent ratio. And so today we're going to be talking about tangent. We're going to be talking about inverse tangent. We'll talk about finding tangent ratios. And then we will use tangent to find triangle legs and or angles. That's the deal for today. So let's start out with talking about what tangent is to begin with. Tangent is just a ratio. Now here's the thing with tangent, cosine, and sine. They only work if they deal with a right triangle. So if we make a right triangle here, A, B, Q. So we have two legs. We've got leg AB and BQ. Tangent is a ratio of the opposite over the adjacent. So for example, the tangent of angle A would be the opposite side length over the adjacent side length. So in this case, the tangent of angle A is going to be whatever BQ is over the length of AB. Pretty straightforward. Let's do an example. Where'd we go? There we are. Find the tangent of angles T and U. And so if we've got a triangle, and we'll call it TUV, and it's a right triangle, and this has side lengths of 3, 4, and 5. Well, we know that tangent of some angle is the opposite over the adjacent. So let's start with T. So we know the tangent of angle T is going to be the opposite over the adjacent, so 3 over 4. Or we can reduce this to a decimal, and it can be 0.75. Now all we need to do is find the tangent of U. Tangent angle U is going to be opposite over adjacent. So from U, it's the opposite, 4 over the adjacent leg of 3. 4/3 or 1.3 repeating. That was pretty easy. So the natural extension, or the reason that we want to know about tangent and how to use tangent, is that you can use tangent to find side lengths. So if we have some triangle, and let's say we've got a triangle with, we're going to make it look about like this. And let's see, we'll make this one 86 degrees, and we'll make this 50. And let's say we want to find the value of x. Well, so we know that tangent is opposite over adjacent. And I should back up here and say tangent of some angle is opposite over adjacent. So we happen to know the angle measure. So what we're going to do is we're going to say the tangent of 86 degrees equals the opposite side length. We don't know it. So we've got x over the adjacent side length of 50. So now all we need to do is solve for x. So we solve for x by multiplying both sides by 50. So I'll grab a new color here. After we rearrange, we get 50 times the tangent of 86 equals x. Now this is exactly what you're going to plug into your calculator. And so when we plug that in, we're going to get 715.03. Easy enough, right? Now, let's say we have two sides, but we want to know the angle measure. We can do that too. And we're going to say, using tangent ratio to find angle measure. And this one is inverse tangent. Now when I say inverse tangent, on your calculator it looks like this. Tangent to the -1. That's what it's going to look like on your calculator. So let's take a triangle, and let's call this triangle Steve. And for our purposes, Steve is going to have vertices H, B, and X. And we'll say that Steve also has side lengths of 6, 8, and 10. Now, we want to find the measure of angle X. Right now, we only know how to find side lengths using tangent. Well, this one's going to use inverse tangent. So let's start out by writing the tangent ratio of x. So the tangent of angle x is going to equal the opposite over the adjacent, or 6 over 8. Okay, that's great. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to use inverse tangent. And so what inverse tangent does is that swaps the x and the 6 over 8. 6 over 8 is, by the way, 3/4. Inverse tan swaps. And I'll put a couple of red arrows up here. That one and that. So now here's what you're going to plug into your calculator. Tangent to the -1, inverse tangent of 0.75. And then you're going to hit the equal sign. And that's going to spit out 36.8698. but for us, we're just going to round to 37. That's tangent. So you can use tangent if you have at least two things. So you can have two legs, you can have a leg and an angle, you can have an angle and a leg. Any combination, as long as you've got two things, you'll be able to find the rest with tangent. So to finish this off, we talked about tangent. We talked about tangent to the -1, or inverse tangent. We found tangent ratios, not radios. We found angle measures using tangent ratios. And we also found leg length using tangent. That's what we did. There is a worksheet today. There's a worksheet tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. Tomorrow, something else.